Coming up on Valley News Live at 5, a man arrives home to find his apartment is destroyed by fire. A hammer attack has landed a woman in jail and facing a charge of attempted murder. And a woman is remembering her dad today, telling the country about the family man who was killed in a Boulder, Colorado shooting. Valley News Live at 5 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with breaking news. Fire crews are on the scene of an apartment fire this afternoon in North Fargo. It's at 505 28th Avenue North near the Northport Hornbachers. That's where we find Valley News team's Courtney Lockey live with the latest. Courtney?
Andrea, it was actually just a couple of minutes ago that people living in this apartment complex behind me got to go back inside. This after they were kicked out about 2 hours ago when smoke and flames started shooting out from an apartment unit on the 3rd floor. Now, fire crews say when they got the call, they arrived, there were flames. They were able to put them out and keep them from spreading to the other units within about 10 minutes. They said that the homeowner of the apartment unit was not home at the time, but his next door neighbor on the 3rd floor was, and they had to rescue him with a ladder because the smoke was so thick. Now, they have just spent the last 2 hours clearing out the smoke. Now investigators are inside with the apartment owner trying to figure out the damages and what caused this fire. And we also got to talk to the homeowner earlier today.
I noticed that there were some people congregating in the front door, and I asked what was going on, and they said, well, your apartment's on fire. And I looked up and I saw flames coming out of my window already. I ran upstairs and 3rd floor, and I opened the door, but it was so hot, and I opened the door and smoke engulfed me, so I just left the keys hanging there and I ran backstairs.
Now, the man tells me he's just glad that he and his neighbor were able to get out and that no one was hurt. Now, the Red Cross and the Salvation Army were here helping anybody who needed it, and the scene is getting quiet now. So as soon as we know a cause and the damage, we will give you an update. For now, live in North Fargo, Courtney Lockey, Valley News Live.
All right, thank you, Courtney. A hammer-wielding woman is now in jail for allegedly hitting a man several times in Grand Forks. Police responded to an assault in the 2300 block of 17th Street around 3:30 yesterday afternoon. They found that a 61-year-old man had been hit many times with a hammer. He was taken to Altru Hospital for his injuries. Police arrested 49-year-old Alana Rose Ranasat on attempted murder and burglary charges. Students at NDSU marched for racial equality this afternoon. The Stop Asian Hate rally comes as demonstrations pick up across the country in wake of the deadly spa shootings in Atlanta that left 6 Asian women dead. Authorities have not yet labeled it a hate crime. Student groups say they will continue to fight for equality at NDSU by putting pressure on the administration. We'll have more on the protest tonight on Valley News Live at 6. Depending on where you live, you may have seen rain today. Let's find out if it's all done and what else is happening this evening. Nathan?
Yeah, Andrea, happy Friday to you and happy Friday, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Valley News Live at 5 o'clock. Yes, some spotty shower activity occurring today. Not everybody saw it, and even some areas seeing a bit of a clearing of the sky at this hour as well. Those areas mainly being in the Devil's Lake Basin. But as we can see, just a few isolated locations still seeing some of that light rainfall activity, mainly in our northern Minnesota neighborhoods. We'll take a closer look in here to the Thief River Falls area, just south of Thief River Falls there near Brooks, near Fertile, near Foston, seeing some of those rain showers at this hour. But these are few and far between. Also can't rule out some snowflakes falling with this moisture as well, because temperatures are on the brisk side, especially as you get up a little bit further into the atmosphere where that moisture is falling from. But Andrea, the question is it done? The answer is, for some folks, no. I do have some showers there in South Dakota making their way toward us, but of course we'll talk about all that and the weekend in a couple minutes.
Okay, thanks, Nathan. People gathered earlier in the day at Island Park in downtown Fargo to protest the new Enbridge pipeline being built in Minnesota. Line 3 would stretch 337 miles across the state. Protesters say they don't want it contaminating their land or the environment. The group marched to Wells Fargo today, demanding they cut ties and stop funding the pipeline.
We are in a climate crisis. We do not need to be exporting tar sands oil, which is one of the most dirty and polluting types of fossil fuels available right now.
The pipeline is also drawing national attention. At least 5 people are dead after another round of severe storms ripped across the southeastern U.S. Nearly 24 tornadoes were reported in Alabama and Georgia, leaving behind a trail of damage that stretches for miles. Omar Villafranca reports from some hard-hit communities in Calhoun County, Alabama.
Wave after wave of severe storms pounded the South overnight, dropping tornadoes in the metro Atlanta area. Earlier in the day, storms battered Alabama. Carol Tomlin woke up just in time to take cover in her bathroom before a tornado slashed through her Birmingham neighborhood.
I just got in the tub and put the pillows over my head and the blanket and just prayed. But I could hear hear things hitting the house, and the house was shaking.
She survived, but her neighborhood was badly damaged. Half of her neighbor's roof and wall tossed in her backyard. Tornadoes raked across the South, leaving behind extensive damage. Dozens of homes reduced to rubble and lives lost. The Calhoun County Coroner's Office said 3 of the 5 people killed here when the tornado struck were family members. Residents tried to quickly clean up the damage during a brief break in the storm. People in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama are picking up the mess and sorting through what's left of their homes. For some people in Bibb County, this was a first.
I've never experienced a storm before in my life this bad, and I did hear it sounded like a train coming.
Kayla Mayfield is just grateful her family survived.
The 4 people that were with me are all I have living in this world. We bunkered down, we prayed to our heavens, missed us by 6 feet, and we're here with God's grace.
Thousands of people in this area are still without power, so now as the sun is coming up, they're able to start cleaning up, but they will not get a break because there is more chance of rain possibly today in the forecast. Omar Villafranca, CBS News, Calhoun County, Alabama.
The East Grand Forks Fire Department says a cigarette is to blame for a fire that caused thousands of dollars in damage to a restaurant and apartment. The fire started on the roof at Sicky's Garage yesterday. There are 7 apartment units above the restaurant, and fire officials say someone threw a cigarette butt out a window and it landed on the roof of the additional eating area. One person is displaced due to smoke damage in their apartment. Damages are estimated to be between $500,000 and $700,000. A wintry mix in the Northern Valley contributed to some slippery conditions on the roads. The North Dakota Highway Patrol posted these pictures, warning drivers to be careful. This crash happened around 7:15 this morning on I29 north of Grand Forks. One person was taken to a hospital. One person was charged with care required after losing control, crossing the median and hitting another vehicle. A sinkhole opened up and forced part of a West Fargo intersection to close. The east side of the intersection at 8th Street West and 10.5 Avenue West is closed. The city says repairs are expected to start on Monday and could last until Wednesday. 8th Street West will stay open to northbound and southbound traffic. Officials from the West Fargo Public School District are reporting an alarming increase in COVID numbers within their district. The school district says this week they have had to quarantine 7 lunch pods of students and have closed 1 kindergarten classroom. School leaders also say they are just 1 case away from having to close classrooms at 3 of their buildings. They add this new trend is concerning and requires the attention of the entire community to mitigate. The school district is asking the public to continue to social distance and wear masks. The general public in North Dakota will be eligible for the vaccine on Monday. A number of organizations are setting up for that phase 2 rollout, including Thrifty White Pharmacy, Essentia, and Sanford. CVS is also offering COVID vaccinations, as are public health departments in many counties. Governor Tim Walz says that while everyone is eligible, vaccinating older, high-risk people will still be a priority in the state. The governor encouraged Minnesotans to make sure they're signed up with the state vaccine connector. Those looking for an appointment can also use the vaccine locator map, and you can find both links to both sites on our website, valleynewslive.com. To stay on top of the latest COVID vaccine-related information, use our VNL vaccine tracker. It's right on the home page of our website, or you can open your phone camera and point it at the QR code on your screen. Then tap the link that pops up. The suspect in the deadly shooting in Boulder, Colorado, has been in court for the first time. Ahmad Alissa was brought into court in a wheelchair and spoke only once to acknowledge the charges. His defense attorney immediately requested a mental health evaluation. This comes as we learn more about the 10 victims of that attack, including 61-year-old Kevin Mahoney, a father of 2. Correspondent David Begnaud reports from Boulder.
This is how the world first found out that Kevin Mahoney was killed, when his daughter Erica posted this photo on Twitter that has now gone viral, saying, "My dad represents all things love. I'm so thankful he could walk me down the aisle."
That expression that he has on his face is one I've seen my whole life. That represents so much pride, but also holding back tears.
Why did you pick that photo?
We knew he was gone, but if there was a moment I could share with the world that captured who he was and also my relationship with him, it was that moment.
How would you describe your husband's love for your daughter?
Kevin is a sweet soul. At that moment in time, he embraced the feelings and it reflected in his face toward his daughter. He loved to ski. He loved to hike. He loved to camp. He loved to travel.
At the time Erica announced her father's death, she revealed that she was pregnant with the first grandchild of the family.
This little baby girl is what's getting us through this time because I can feel her kick, and every kick is telling me to be strong. And of course, my dad, even though this is so devastating and so hurtful, he wants us to carry on.
David Begnaud, CBS News, Boulder, Colorado.
Now, Boulder police have announced in a press conference today that they will continue to be transparent with the public, but at this time there are far more questions than answers. The West Fargo VFW is recognizing Vietnam veterans this weekend for their selfless sacrifices. It's happening in their building, the North End, starting at noon on Saturday. The event includes a social and gathering time for 30 minutes, then 15 minutes for prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. And then, starting at 1 p.m., free food and refreshments for the NDSU Bison game on the big screen. Door prizes and drawings will be given away after the game. Kickoff is less than 24 hours away as the Bison go on the road this weekend to take on the University of South Dakota. You can catch all the action on KVLY. The pregame show starts at noon on Saturday with kickoff set for 1. A fast food chain wants to make sure seniors are being fed during the pandemic. What it's cooking up, still to come.
And our chance of showers does still continue in Fargo for this Friday evening, with temperatures cooling into the 40s, through the 40s, into those upper 30s, I should say, by the later hours tonight. And then in Grand Forks, also expecting things to stay cloudy with those upper 30s there by midnight tonight. But of course, we'll talk about that chance of showers lingering for Saturday and look ahead to a warm next week, or at least next Monday. But that forecast is next.